Man, how do I even start this one? Before I jump into this video, let me just go ahead and give a content warning. Some of the things I'm going to talk about in this video is pretty intense. This video is not for people under the age of 18, and neither is the game that I'm talking about. It's definitely not under the age of 18. I'll go as far as to say that if you're under the age of 21, don't play this game. It's very extreme. I'm probably gonna have to age restrict this video as well because of the content that I'm going to be talking about and some of the words that I'm going to use. If I don't age restrict it, YouTube definitely will age restrict it. So without further ado, I'm just gonna jump into the video. Fair warning, I will be spoiling a lot of the content within the game. Not too much, but I will be spoiling some things, as again, I don't recommend you play this game at all. If you're not a seasoned visual novel game player, do not play this game. I know some of you are going to get very, very intrigued by what I'm going to talk about. And obviously, the more I tell you not to do something, the more you want to do it. But please, for the love of your sanity, do not do what I did. Don't play this game. Now, I was actually working on another video before this that I was going to cover some of the worst visual novel games I've ever played. And one of those titles included a game called Euphoria.
Euphoria.
No, not that Euphoria. No, you incel. This.
Oh my
Euphoria.
God, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
Now, while taking some notes for this video, I came to see that there was a few mentions of a game called Maggot Baits. Apparently, this game is even worse than Euphoria in a extreme way. Now, I'm going to be completely honest. I got curious.
Oh no.
And I did not know that my curiosity would be the... Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know. Now, if you are a visual novel player, then you probably know that there are some levels to visual novel horror. Let's say that Doki Doki Literature Club is level 1. Then we say Saya no Uta is level 2. Bible Black being level 3. And of course, Euphoria is level 4. Now, I spent most of my time thinking that Euphoria is the worst and that there was no level 5. Fuck me, I was horribly wrong. This game is level 5. The only way to describe this game would be 3 words. Detailed torture porn. Whew. And I say detailed for reasons that I'm going to get into. To describe the game in a too long didn't read version, there are witches in the world who are practically immortal. They are ruled by their extremely high sex drive and violence. They're so powerful that the only way they can be killed is through beheading. And the way they maintain their power is by the semen of men. I'm not making this shit up. That's an actual that's how they stay alive. That's how they get their powers, by a man's you know what. That also pretty much tells you who the core audience of this game is for. Now, there's also an underground society whose goal is to hunt down the witches and quite literally torture them. There's also another creature within the game called Maggots, whose main goal is to yeah, figure that out. The maggots are probably the most feared and disgusting thing within the game. The underground is broken up into 3 groups: the witches, the witch hunters, and the church. And yes, for a game that's filled with disgusting sex, the church is a subplot line to this entire story. I can't make this up. And let me just say that even though I do know this is a fictional game, on the religious side of things, they fucked the story so bad. Unironically or ironically, the people behind the witch hunts is the Catholic Church. And this is pretty historically accurate considering the Salem witch hunts and the Holy Roman Empire witch trials. So it's historically inaccurate while at the same time being canon to the witch hunts in religious culture. Now, before I jump into the core part of this video, let me just go ahead and say, please subscribe to the channel. Yeah, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, as it helps me pop up in the feed and helps the algorithm a little bit more, especially if I'm going to make videos like this, which I'm actually enjoying. I didn't enjoy playing the game. I didn't. But if I'm going to make more videos like this, you know, please subscribe to the channel. First things first, I also want to start off with the good things about this game, because there are some good things about this game and there are some things that deserve a lot of praise. For example, the music. Holy shit. The music makes this game. The music in this game is absolutely stellar. Every scene within this game has well-placed music that adds to the atmosphere of the overall game. Even the opening song is an absolute banger. I'm adding it to my Spotify playlist. It is a banger of a song. One of the things that was also outside of my expectations was the art. The characters are unique and really well designed. And I don't say that because two of the characters are buff, big titty, goth muscle mommies. That's not why I'm saying that it's well designed. Okay, that's 30% of the reason. All right, 30% of the reasons. Don't tell me you don't look at this and just go, there's no way. I look at that character and I have a Will Smith moment. The quality of the art is pretty insane and well detailed, considering the content of this game is pretty much a combination of every crime imaginable. The game doesn't suffer from the typical problem a lot of anime suffer from, which it's like the same face, different hair, niche character design. You can see the differences between every single character. The other thing I would say that made this game somewhat playable was the writing. Holy crap. The game is so amazingly written out. You can feel the motives between every single choice each character makes, whether it be lust, power, revenge, or pure curiosity. There's even this one scene in the visual novel slightly taps on the third wall within itself. Every description within the game is so detailed and well written that you forget how fucked the game is. You genuinely do forget at some points. The touch on religion is also well written, that I even learned a few things myself, including something called the Gospel of Judas, which I'm gonna be honest, is not something I knew existed. I did not know about the Gospel of Judas. And this is coming from a person who was raised in both a Catholic and Baptist church. I did not know there was a thing called the Gospel of Judas. So this was, I learned something, all right? I actually did learn something. There's also a character who actually believes she is Jesus because of the things that she has to go through within this visual novel, which is pretty funny. It's actually more accurate to say that she thinks she's better than Jesus. The writing doesn't hold back expressing what each character is feeling either, including how horny they are.
おいおいイザベル、さっきからずいぶんメス犬くせえじゃねえか。どれだけ股から垂れ流してんだよ。
Pause.
Yeah, they really go into detail about that. This one scene where it it talks about how damp one of the characters. Oh my god, it's actually reading some of the lines was absolutely hilarious. The other thing that's really good within this game is the voice acting. Man, the voice acting made each character more unique and enhanced the character's personality even more. I will never stop laughing at one of the characters who initiates his abilities by screaming hallelujah. It is the best thing in this visual novel.
No! Hallelujah! 邪法の司祭を真意に砕けろ! Oh! Hallelujah!
Unfortunately, all the good things that I talked about earlier does not make up for some of the terrible things that happens. This game does not hold back at all. Yeah, let's just jump into it. The number of atrocities within this game, some of the scenes just made me stop playing more times than I can count. Keep in mind, I said you needed alcohol to play this game. This game does indeed have a story, but most of the story is covered by the fact that after every single plot explanation, you get hit by some of the worst graphic sex imaginable. This game is extremely unapologetic and takes torture to the extreme. Of course, I can't even show some of the mild scenes from the game because of like, man, some of the stuff within this game, if I would even hint at it, my channel would get nuked. It would just get nuked to the nether realm. It is pretty bad. If you want an example of how bad it is, I'll just say this. One of the characters gets locked into a brazen bull. She gets locked into a brazen bull and gets set on fire. That's one of the milder forms of torture within this game. There's also another character who, I believe her name was Allison, who gets strapped to a table and they play roulette. In a high society club, they play roulette on which body parts are going to get cut off. Yeah. If that doesn't turn you off so far, oh boy, it gets worse. It actually gets worse. Every female character within this visual novel gets absolutely violated. Remember how I said there was a character named Allison within the game? Yeah, her too. Her too. Right before she gets... Actually, I want to say right before and after she gets absolutely mutilated, she gets violated. And keep in mind, Allison is a child. Yeah, I wasn't kidding. This game goes to extremes. Allison is a kid. And because of how well detailed the description is within this game, you can tell that she's a child because they use terminology like lolly, brat, and child. Yeah, the worst part of this game is literally just the sex. Every crime that you can think of that is sex related in this game, from pedophilia to rape to necrophilia. There's even a scene with one woman and two pigs. I don't think I need to go any further than that. I don't need to explain. You don't need me to explain. You get it. The big problem is that this game is so overly filled with sex that you forget the plot, entirely trying to skip through the insane sex scenes. Now, of course, most of the scenes involve the maggots, which, despite the torture within the game, is the worst part of the game. The maggots go through almost every single hole on the human body. And some places that you couldn't even imagine. And if they don't have a hole to go through, they create one. I'm not making that up. They literally do. Another problem with some of these scenes were how long they were. They were massively long. And if you didn't skip through some of these scenes like I did, then you'll probably be reading one explicit sex scene for 20 to 30 minutes plus. That's how long these scenes lasted. Keep in mind that this game is roughly 20 hours long to play through all 3 routes. I personally finished this game within 3 to 4 hours. All 3 routes. And that's with skipping most of the sex scenes. So what does that tell you? That pretty much tells you that this game has between 10 to 16 hours of straight torture porn. How you can even, I don't even know how you can remember the plot after sitting through all that. Like, if you do what I did, if you are going to play this game, which I don't recommend, do what I did and just skip through most of it. Skip through some of the grotesque stuff that I know for a fact most people can't sit through. Just skip through it and just get to the story, if you can even find the story. Now, I'm pretty sure, now, I do have to remember that this is a eroge, so a lot of people probably didn't even come here for the story. They came here for the pure sex scenes. And let me just say this now. If you manage to get halfway chub, to all the guys out there, if you manage to get any kind of chub playing this game, you need to go to church, or you need to see a therapist, or go to jail. One of those 3 options. There is no other option. This shit was very difficult to sit through, let alone get turned on through. I'm gonna be honest. There's just no way at all. Now, the bad ending within this game is just like 2 to 3 hours of just non-consensual sex with chicks with dicks. That's the only way to describe it. I'm sorry. That is the only way to describe it. Keep in mind, most of the consensual and non-consensual sex within this game had nothing to do with the plot. Most of it had absolutely nothing to do with the storyline. Some of it, yes, some. I would say good 10%. What does that tell you when 10% of it had nothing to do with the story? There's even 2 characters within this game. They're so irrelevant. They're just there just to be there. They're just there to be tortured. You can barely even remember their names. They just show up randomly and they get I don't know how else to describe it. It's pretty messed up. That is their only contribution to this game. And I actually genuinely feel bad for their voice actors, because their voice actors had to be just moaning with a few words in between the entire time. That was their only job.
Oh my god.
Like, the plot within this game was completely buried under the huge amount of sex scenes that was literally formatted in subplot, sex, torture, plot, sex, torture, more sex, plot, sex 4 times. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say it. It's 4 times of that. More torture and sex. Action, plot, ending. That is it. That's it. If you think I'm kidding, I'm actually dead ass serious. That is it. Speaking of endings, for a game that is 20 hours long, there's only 3 endings. And this part actually irritates me the most. In order to get to the true ending of the game, you have to go through 2 bad endings. You have to go through the worst endings in this game in order to get to the best optional route where you no longer want to play it. So sitting through the true ending, I already was like halfway buzzed, because I had already consumed. Look at that. This is melon liqueur. Who drinks melon liqueur by itself? No one. But playing this game, I had to. And look at it. It's almost gone. It's almost gone. That's by the time I got to the true ending of the game, I was buzzed. I was out of there. I was already out of there. Now, if I had to rate this game, I would probably give it a 3 out of 10. I would give it a 3 out of 10. It would be so much better if they cut most of the sex scenes by half, at least by half, because there's no reason for a game to be 20 hours long for it to have what it had. It's insane. It was too much, to be honest. And I'm not going to say I enjoyed it. I didn't. I played a lot of games this year, and this is the one game that I did not enjoy playing. But I played it because there was another video I was working on, and I wanted to add it to that video, and I do regret it. I regret playing this game. And if you try to play it, you will regret it as well. But anyways, that's it for this video. I just kind of wanted to jump into this. If you enjoyed the content, hit that subscribe button, comment down your thoughts. Halloween is fast approaching, so I'm going to be doing a lot more horror games like this. A lot more horror games. I do love playing horror games, so I'm getting started on Halloween really early. So please comment down below your thoughts. Do not play this game. You will regret it. But anyways, my name is Robbie J. Fox, and fuck off.